Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're taking a look at how to make a real impact, even when you're up against these huge, overwhelming problems.
It's so easy to get stuck focusing on what you can't control, right?
Totally. But that's why we're diving into 15% solutions today.
Oh yeah, 15% solutions.
It's a fantastic technique that comes from Professor Gareth Morgan.
And really took off thanks to Liberating Structures.
This is all about shifting our perspective and realizing just how much power we actually do have.
It's moving away from I can't and towards I can.
It's finding those actions we can take right now, no matter how small.
Yeah, exactly. We're not just going to stand by the sea and stare at the water.
Like Art Tagore said, we got to dive in.
I love that quote. It really embodies the whole spirit of 15% solutions.
It's a call to action for all of us.
It's a reminder that we all have a part to play.
So let's say you're passionate about improving customer satisfaction at your company.
Right. You want to make things better for your customers.
But you feel stuck with the current processes.
They're like roadblocks in your way.
Instead of waiting for a complete overhaul,
What small changes can you make right now in your own workflow?
what can you do today to create a better experience for your customers?
Okay, I think we need a real-world example here.
Let's imagine you're a nurse who is really dedicated to patient well-being.
You're committed to making sure your patients are safe and healthy.
And you notice the hand sanitizer dispensers are often in inconvenient spots.
Well,
And that could lead to missed opportunities for hand hygiene.
that's a big deal in a hospital.
So your 15% solution might be to advocate for better placement of those dispensers.
Seems pretty small, right?
But think about that change multiplied across the entire hospital.
That small adjustment could actually lead to a huge reduction in infections.
So suddenly your 15% solution isn't just about convenience, it's potentially saving lives.
It really is. That's the ripple effect in action.
It's incredible how much impact those small changes can have.
So you see, it's not about precise calculations.
It's about a mindset shift.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's about identifying areas where you have autonomy and then making the choice to act.
It's not about waiting for permission or for someone else to tell you what to do.
It's about taking initiative within your own sphere of influence.
Exactly. Making a difference where you are right now.
But what about those of us who are thinking,
My 15% seems so insignificant.
like, can it really make a difference?
I hear you. It's easy to feel like our individual actions don't matter much.
Especially when we're facing these huge, complex challenges.
But we often underestimate the power of small actions.
Even little changes in communication or attitude can have a ripple effect.
They can shift team dynamics and really impact the big picture.
It's like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
We don't need to have all the answers or wait for perfect conditions.
We can start making a difference today.
Okay, so how do we put 15% solutions into practice?
Is there a process?
There is, and it's surprisingly simple.
Tell me more.
You start with a clear invitation to action.
Like asking yourself, what's my 15%?
Yeah. What can I do today to move towards my goal?
So we're framing the challenge in a way that encourages ownership.
And sparks creative thinking.
So then we brainstorm our individual 15% solutions.
Exactly. This is where you tap into your own unique knowledge and skills.
What are you good at? What resources do you have?
Be resourceful. Be innovative.
Okay, so then we move into a collaborative space, right?
Right. We share those 15% solutions with a group.
So we can get feedback and support from others.
Sharing your ideas helps refine them and makes you more accountable.
It creates a sense of shared responsibility within the group.
You're not in this alone. You've got a team behind you
It's a great point. It's like a built-in support system.
to help bring those 15% solutions to life.
It's not just brainstorming, it's about taking action together.
That's where the real magic happens.
It's about bridging that gap between knowing and doing.
Turning ideas into tangible results.
And that's when we start to see the powerful impact of 15% solutions.
Not just for individuals, but for teams and organizations as a whole.
It's about making a real difference together.
One 15% solution at a time.
It seems like 15% solutions is more about changing how we approach problems.
It's a real mindset shift.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed and powerless, we start to see that we do have some control.
Even in those really complex situations.
It's recognizing that we always have options.
And those small actions, those 15% solutions can really add up over time.
It's like that butterfly effect.
We may not see the immediate impact, but
Those little things can set off a chain reaction.
and lead to some really amazing outcomes.
It reminds me of the saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Exactly. 15% Solutions is all about taking those first steps.
even if they seem small or insignificant at the time.
Each step moves us closer to where we want to be.
It's about building momentum one step at a time.
That's like that snowball rolling downhill.
It gets bigger and bigger as it goes.
Each 15% solution adds to that momentum and accelerates the change.
Like in that superbug prevention story on the Liberating Structures website.
Oh yeah, the one where healthcare workers took action to reduce infections.
They didn't wait for a top-down mandate or anything.
They just started making small changes in their own practices.
Like advocating for hand hygiene.
And those small changes multiplied across the whole hospital.
And led to a big decrease in infections.
It's a perfect example of how individual 15% solutions
can combine to create real systemic change.
It shows the power of empowering individuals and groups to take action.
To experiment and learn as they go.
It's not about having a perfect plan from the start.
It's more about embracing this iterative, adaptive approach, especially in today's world where things are constantly changing.
Yeah, we can't always wait for complete certainty or a fully formed plan.
We need to be able to move forward with what we know and adjust as we go.
And 15% solutions gives us a framework for doing just that.
It's like a compass guiding us through all the complexity.
Leading us towards our goals, even when the path isn't clear.
It's not just for big organizational challenges either, right?
Definitely not. Think about a personal goal you've been putting off.
Because it just seems too daunting.
Like, what's your 15% for getting started today?
Maybe it's brainstorming ideas or reaching out to someone for advice.
It's all about breaking down those big goals into manageable steps.
Focusing on what we can control right now.
But taking action can be scary sometimes.
There's always that fear of failure.
Or pushback from other people.
Anytime we step outside our comfort zone, there's a risk involved.
But 15% Solutions encourages us to see those risks as opportunities.
It's a chance to grow and learn.
Instead of letting fear hold us back,
we can reframe it as a challenge to overcome.
And by focusing on our 15%, we're not putting all our eggs in one basket.
We're taking manageable steps, experimenting and adapting along the way.
And remember, the 15% solutions process involves collaboration.
So we can share ideas with others.
That can really help reduce risk and boost your confidence.
It's about building a supportive environment.
Where everyone feels safe to take those small steps.
And learn from each other's experiences.
That sense of shared responsibility is so empowering.
It's moving away from blame and towards learning and continuous improvement.
And that shift in culture can have a huge impact.
It can foster innovation, agility, and resilience.
And it's not just about the practical benefits either.
It's about something deeper.
It's about changing how we see our own potential.
Instead of focusing on limitations and scarcity,
we start to see abundance and possibility.
That shift in perspective can be transformative.
Not just for individuals,
but for teams and organizations as a whole.
It's about realizing our collective power to make a difference.
We're talking about more than just getting things done.
It's about changing how we think about change itself.
Exactly. It's realizing we all have those 15% solutions inside us.
Those small actions that can make a difference.
We just have to find them and then be brave enough to act.
That's what I find so inspiring about this.
It reminds us we can create positive change no matter what our role is.
It doesn't matter your position. Everyone can contribute.
So what happens when we apply that 15% solutions mindset as a group?
As teams and organizations.
Things get really interesting then.
Imagine a workplace where leaders are always asking,
what have you done with your 15% lately?
How would that change things?
It would totally shift the conversation.
Instead of focusing on problems and limits.
Everyone would be looking for solutions and celebrating progress.
Exactly. It's a culture of action where everyone feels empowered.
To contribute, to experiment, to innovate.
What do you think that would do for morale and productivity?
It'd be like a ripple effect throughout the whole organization.
All those individual 15% solutions coming together.
Creating a wave of positive change.
We're not just solving problems, we're building a better culture.
A culture that's more engaged, proactive, and resilient.
That's something you can't force with rules or top-down stuff.
It takes a real change in mindset.
That belief that everyone has the power to make a difference.
15% solutions feels like more than just a technique.
It's a whole philosophy.
A way to approach challenges with optimism, agency, and shared responsibility.
But I know some people are probably thinking,
this sounds great in theory, but
will it actually work in my messy, complicated real world?
That's a fair point. There are no magic solutions.
But 15% solutions gives us a powerful framework.
To navigate complexity and drive real change.
It's not about having all the answers or perfect conditions.
It's about starting right now with what you have and taking that first step.
Focus on the things you can control.
Don't get bogged down by what you can't.
And remember, even those small actions create momentum over time,
It's about building a culture of trying things out and learning from them.
where everyone feels safe to experiment, make mistakes, and adapt.
Because that's how lasting change happens.
Not with big announcements or rigid plans,
But with those small, consistent actions.
driven by a shared belief in our collective power to make a difference.
This has been a really eye-opening deep dive.
I agree, we've explored so
Not
much.
just how to solve problems, but how to unlock our potential.
How to work together better and create a more positive future.
Absolutely. I hope everyone listening feels inspired.
To find their own 15% solutions and take action.
Remember, every journey starts with a single step.
And who knows what amazing things we can accomplish together.
One 15% solution at a time. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making your 15% difference. See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.